Welcome to day 6. Now in day 6 we're going to be looking at stream and lambdas. But before we do that, we're going to be doing our revision on homework from day 5. So let's go and have a look at that. Now what you were asked to do is write a program that reads a list of names from an input file. And my suggestion was that you use a text file and you had to write it out to a different file. Now, there were a couple of different ways that you could have done this. So have a look at my solution. Maybe you had a different one. Now, to start with, I created a class called Homework Day 5 Q1, which was the class that I'm going to test everything in. My strategy was to read from my text file, and I'll show you what I did. I created a folder called Resources, and in there I created a file which I named cricketnames.list. And this is what it looked like. I just typed in a couple of names. Well, I'm crazy about cricket, as you can imagine. So I put in a couple of cricketers' names that I'm familiar with and that I like. And then I went and I had a look at how I was going to read this. And what I decided to do was to read from this file and put the information into an array list. And the reason that I took this avenue was because I knew that if I put the information into an array list, I had the ability to sort that array list. And I could sort it in ascending order, and I would be able to print it out, and I could take the array, once the array list had been sorted, I could take that array list and I could write it out to a new file. Right, now what I'm going to do here is let me just scroll up and show you. What I have done here is I've created an object of file so that I can connect to my cricketnames.list. I created an object of file reader, and I wrapped the buffered reader around the file reader. Now, on line number 28, I've done something which is a little unfamiliar to you. I read, using buffered reader, the read line, and I assigned the whatever was read from the file to the variable called surname, which was of type string. And I immediately checked to see if it was null. In other words, if there were no more strings to read. If there were, I added it to the names array list. And I continued doing that until it was finished. And once it was finished, I then closed the connections to the files that had done the reading. I then went down to line number 39. And on line number 39, I used the collections to sort that array list. I printed it out just for the sake of easy reading and you people able to have a look that in fact it had been sorted. I then went and said, okay, now what I need to do is I need to write it out to a different file. So I recreated the file object and I then gave it a different destination. Notice that I used resources cricketnames.bak for backup. I created an object of file writer and print writer. So I wrapped the print writer around the file writer, and then I used a for each loop. So I went through the array list, and every time I got through the array list, I used a method from print writer called println, and I printed that out to the file. So every time it read, it printed to the file. I then closed it. So if I run this program, so let me run the program. So if I run the program, okay, this is the sorted array list. It saved the file. If I go here to resources and I right click and I refresh, I should see the backup file. If I double click on it, this should be sorted compared to my original. There's my original and there's my sorted. And that is one solution that you may use for your homework. Right, this brings us to the end of our homework revision.